Hello, everybody. We're working on Pente and we're trying to get Ralph, the computer move generator working. Okay. And we have this really basic setup. We have Ralph with some ability to get a hold of the board and also the game board, right? And also the board object. And it knows what stone it is, which is good, and it knows how big the board is. Okay, that's kind of a minimum what we got going here. So if we're going to make a Ralph object, we're going to send it the board B, and we're going to send it a stone color. Okay, so and then we have this thing, and we'll let it do a computer move. Okay, so let's get a Ralph object going. Okay, you could do this in Pente board, but I kind of think maybe you should do it in main. So let's see how much trouble it'll cost us if it do it in main. Okay, because basically we create the board here. Okay, and what we could do is before we add the board onto the frame, we could make Ralph. Okay, so we're gonna make a Ralph. Um, Let me see. Actually, maybe we can't. Let me see. Hang on a sec. Because to do this, we need to know the initial stone color. So actually, Ralph should come in from board Pente game board. Okay. So what's going to happen is, and I guess that's okay because then the game board knows about Ralph too. Okay. So what we'll do is I'm going to go into a game board, and so in game board, and we are going to make a Ralph object here. Okay. Okay, this is the computer move generator. Okay. I didn't instantiate it, okay, yet. Okay, so there's just a declaration of it. There's a Ralph that could happen at any time. And then we could do something like this. Okay, you could do something like this when you make the board first. Maybe you could do something like this. And let me see if the board shows up or if this is a big gray square first, okay? Okay, we could do something like this. The computer, something like that, okay? Let me see what happens if I do this. Okay, so all I do is you know, I just pulled up a JOption pane thing to try to get a response, okay? And actually what you do is you go string computer answer equals, and so what it's going to do is it's going to put the answer in there, and then we can figure this out, okay? So let me see what happens when we run this. Okay, it would do this, and see. We'll talk about this and see if this is acceptable. Okay, so you can say like that, and then what it'll do is it'll bust up the thing, and it'll tell you they're gonna play against the computer because you could actually say no, and we could do this. We could make a Boolean playing against Ralph, and we could set that equal to false in the beginning. Okay, so I've got a computer move generator, and then I've got Ralph. Okay, and then we could do something like this too to make sure that you get yes or no. Okay. And this, and I can say something like if computer answer equals, or you can do contains to or matches. Okay, I'm going to try equals just to see what it says. I can say yes, right? Or and you can do this as much as you want to. Heart content. Something like that. Okay. If all that's true, then or any one of those is true, then what we're going to do is we're going to instantiate Ralph. Okay. Actually, what we should do in the beginning is make him equal null too. Make him equal null. So he's like, oh, not equals, just equals. So Ralph is like something. He's like sort of the anti, not there. And then we're gonna go computer generator equals new Ralph. And then we're going to call it the constructor. Let me make sure I got this right. It's called computer move generator. Yep. Okay. So if all that's true, then we're going to call it Ralph. And Ralph's constructor requires Pente game board and a stone color. Okay. So it doesn't need much to get it to going. Okay. So it needs the board, which is actually this, and then it needs a stone color. Okay, and actually what we should do is, sorry, we're going to move this down. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to put it here after change turn, because we know what change turn it is. Actually here. Before we change turn. So we can set it this, and we'll set it the current turn. Okay, because I believe the current turn is set to black. The beginning. Yep. So we don't have to worry about it. So there it is. So you got a Ralph. Okay. Okay, and like to test this out, you could okay, that seems fine. And like to test this out, you could in Ralph, you could go like okay. So you go, hi Ralph, here, ready to play. So Ralph will be here, and let's see how this works. Okay, so we'll say yes. Boom. Okay, Ralph's here. He's ready to play. He actually shows up before the board. That's interesting. Okay, and then, like the board will just operate the way it has before. Okay. Yeah, that's good, right? Okay. So let's get it to generate a move. Okay. Okay, so everything's cool, except we just need to get it to do a move. Okay. Oh, and then we should set a variable that said that the computer game's going, right? Okay, so wait a second. I'm in Pente game board. I'm in the constructor, and I'm going to say my Boolean is called plays against Ralph. Playing against Ralph equals true. equals true. Okay, so that's good. So there it is. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to or need to go to the play game part. Okay. So we're going to go like this basically. So it does all this stuff, right? And it gets a change turn, right? Okay. I'm sorry. Let's do this. This is just for future for future reference, okay? And I'm gonna go like this, playing against Ralph. I'm gonna go int um, Ralph's Ralph's stone color, okay? And that's gonna equal. That's gonna be there. It's just gonna sit, okay? So I'll call it Ralph stone color, okay? And I'm gonna set the Ralph stone color so I know what it is. Okay, so I'm going to say Ralph Stone color equals current turn. So we remember what it is. That's what we're doing. Okay. So then once I do that, when I'm down here playing the game, I can do this. If you change the turn, you can just ask a question. You can say if current turn equals Ralph stone color, then we can call up and generate the move. Okay. So what we would do is we would call, if current turn equals Ralph stone color, or we got to do this first. We got to go if Ralph is playing whatever that variable is. What's that variable called? If playing against Ralph equals true. That's it. So if playing against Ralph equals true and current turn. Okay, so what will happen is like this won't only be true. Like this will only happen. Like there's this possibility that Ralph's stone color wouldn't be right or whatever. It would be null or something like that, or zero. And so I guess it would be empty. So I guess that'd be sort of okay. But this will like happen, and it'll check this part of the condition first. And if this is false, it'll just sort of drop out, and we'll get to this part. But what we want to do is then we want to go computer move generator. Dot do computer move. Okay. And then what we need to do is we need to find the square get row, and we got to send it square get call. Okay? And then after that, you'd have to change the turn. Actually, you'd have to do all this stuff, wouldn't you? You got to do all this. So I'm sorry about that. We need to kind of, like, that would be a better way to, there should be a better way to do that, but that's okay. And this, I think we got to do, I'm sorry, I think we have to, I think you have to do this again. I think this thing has to return like a square.